What is up guys, it's your boy Swollam here, back with another classic WoW video. So it's no secret that over the last couple of weeks I have spent quite some time playing classic hardcore, and if we just go back 1 week in time, I was a level 30 warlock on Hydraction Waterlords. Right now I am a level 46 warlock on Hydraction Waterlords, so in 1 week I have gained 16 levels, which might not be a lot to someone, but to me it's quite a bit because I'm playing the game 5 to 6 hours every single day, and on weekends I play the game a little bit more. The thing is though, I am absolutely having so much fun in hardcore. I'm getting a little bit addicted to the game mode, to be honest, and it's just so much fun to play. Now, throughout my time playing classic hardcore, I have noticed a few things that I want to talk about in this video, and I want to tackle the question of why classic hardcore is so popular. Because let's face it, classic hardcore has gained a lot of traction recently, and it is very popular. Right this week, while I've been playing, I have had a Census Plus Classic scan going on in the background, just to see how many players are playing while I am playing myself, and as you can see here, there's a total character number of 42,237. Now, let's look at that number realistically. There's not 42,000 different players playing here. People are dying at level 5, level 6, level 7, level 10, and recreating a brand new character. But let's say there's 10,000 different players, and that is if everyone has died at least 4 times the last week. That is still quite a lot of players, and to be honest, I don't think people are dying 4 times per week and restarting over and over again. In that case, they never learn from their mistakes, right? You can also take a look at this number right here. There's 309 different level 60s on the hardcore server in EU, so there's even a lot of level 60s, and right here there's no chance anyone died at level 60 and then leveled up another level 60 character this week while the scan has been going on. So there's going to be very few that's been counted twice right here, because there's not too many that have 2 level 60s in hardcore. I'm not saying it's impossible. Some people definitely have more than 1 level 60 on these servers, but not too many people do. You also have to remember, even when classic TBC came out and we could copy our characters, these RP servers were probably not the most popular ones. Like the PvP clusters have a lot more copied characters on them than the actual hardcore or the RP servers. So you can see there's a bunch of people playing, and there's been 42,000 different characters playing while I have been playing the last week, only while I myself have been online, which is once again roughly 5 or 6 hours every single day. So exactly why is classic hardcore so popular? Well, first off, you are leveling more normally, as I would like to call it. Basically, if we take this back all the way to when classic WoW came out in 2019, there was a certain leveling meta. A lot of people were questing normally, but when you got to some higher levels, like level 30 for example, a lot of people noticed that leveling in dungeons were actually it was faster, which also drove a lot of people to start doing these dungeon cleaves, as they were called, where you would basically invite a lot of AoE classes and then just do dungeons together. You also had melee cleaves, and you had ranged cleaves, AoE cleaves, spell cleaves. You pretty much had a lot of different ways to farm inside dungeons that were better or just as good as questing, and in that case you could do it in a dungeon, not having to care about open world questing, mob tags, or anything else. So basically there was a certain leveling meta that revolved around doing dungeons, either in a group or as a duo and stuff like that. Now, when we play classic WoW on classic era, especially on the hardcore servers, there's like no dungeon boosting, there's no mage boosting, there's no dungeon cleaving. You are only allowed to do every single dungeon once per time if you are participating in the hardcore challenge that we have right now. So in that case, you literally can't do any dungeon boosting, you also can't do any dungeon cleaving, and you can't do any mage boosting. It is literally against the rules that we have in the hardcore add-on, and this creates a lot of people leveling in the open world and leveling more normally, as I personally call it when you're leveling in the open world, and it's basically playing the game somewhat as it was intended to be played. I don't think when the game was made in 2004 or 2005, I think it was 2004, I don't think they intended, when they released dungeons, I don't think it was intentional that people would be farming those dungeons instead of doing quests. So this is more of like the way the game is supposed to be played, and it also creates a very, like, you see people more in the open world, the world feels more alive, and it's an absolutely incredible experience with more open world focus. When Classic WoW came out in 2019, there was a lot less open world focus. First of all, even in the open world there was layering, so you wouldn't see that many people. Now I think we actually got to one point where we had some layers on the Classic era server. I think there was 2 layers at some point, but usually there's basically no layers, which means you can see pretty much everyone in the open world, and because nobody is farming dungeons, you see a lot more people actually doing quests as well. So people are leveling by doing quests, and they are actively in the open world, showing you physically how popular the servers are. The next point of why Classic Hardcore is so popular is that it provides you with a challenge. Even though a lot of people have completed the challenge, there's also a bunch of people that have not completed the challenge. Once again, referring back to my Census Plus scan, less than 1% of the player base that was online when this scan was happening are level 60, which means the vast majority, over 99%, are still participating in the challenge itself, which means no matter, like, if you made it to level 60 and you want to say hardcore is easy, well, a bunch of people are still doing the challenge and have not completed it. It is quite challenging for a lot of people, and the thing is, one small mistake can cost you the entire run. Now next up, and this one is pretty big for me, the community itself. When you play hardcore, there's a bunch of hardcore guilds both on EU and NA and for both factions, and you can get invited to a guild super quickly and you feel like you're a part of the community from the very start. They also have a hardcore Discord where you can ask questions, you can get more of the sense of community itself, and you also have all of the content being made around Classic Hardcore, which also plays a part in that community. Like when you go to Reddit, you will see a bunch of posts on hardcore. When you go to YouTube, you will see a bunch of videos on hardcore, and when you go to Twitch, you will see a bunch of people streaming hardcore. The actual sense of community is very strong, and to me that plays a vital part. The thing is, when you're doing Classic Hardcore and there's a very active guild chat, there's just something very magical about it. You also have a hardcore chat in-game, which is also very active, and you have the activity going on in world chat, which is also, once again, roughly 95% or 99% hardcore. The fact is, these are not official hardcore servers. There are some people playing here normally without hardcore, but the vast majority of these servers are participating in the hardcore challenge. Now the last point that I want to talk about today and why Classic Hardcore is so popular is that it's very good for content. Streamers can die at any time, and this makes viewers want to keep watching 24/7 so they don't miss those death clips. And also, there's higher risks involved for the streamers, and it's more fun to watch, plus the streamer reactions to dying is much better, like much stronger reactions, because they have invested so much time into their character. So people just want to stay around to watch just in case the streamer dies, and it creates like this continuous feeling of something incredible or something can happen at literally any time. The highlight of the stream can happen now or in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 hours. You never really know, because once again, one small mistake can cost you the entire run. And if you are level 60, you have probably put in more than 100 hours, probably closer to 150 or 200 hours, in which case, dying and then having to delete your character, it's a massive risk involved right there, which also gives some very good reactions on stream itself. And there is a symbiotic relationship between content, like streamers, content, numbers, YouTube, and how many players are playing the game. People usually want to play the same game as their favorite content creator. Like for example, if you are an Asmongold fan and Asmongold is playing Classic, it gives you, like, it's a higher chance of you playing Classic as well, right? And the same thing goes for hardcore. If your favorite streamer is streaming hardcore, you might be more incentivized to play it yourself, either to be on the same team as your favorite streamer, or, as some people have been doing, play on the opposite faction to grief them, but let's not talk too much about that part. But hey, it is what it is, right? You also have the actual benefit that the streamers just actively promote the game itself, and more promotion, more word of mouth, more people know about hardcore, and the more people know about it, the more people might actually try it out, and some of those people that try it out end up liking it and they're staying for the long run. So overall, all of these reasons are basically combined together to create a massive population spike for hardcore, which I personally think is why it's been absolutely popping off recently. But hey, if you have any other arguments why hardcore has been popping off, please let me know in the comments down below. And I do think that's pretty much what I have for you today. Once again, if you want to check me out live, I'm doing all of my hardcore gameplay live on Twitch and on Kick, and I have also promised to do a 24-hour stream when we get to 150 followers on Kick, and I will leave the link to both my Kick and my Twitch in the comments down below and the video description as well. So if you want to help push us closer to that 24-hour stream, then please feel free to do so. Click the link, sign up, and throw me a follow. Either way, that's pretty much what I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, leave a sub, and thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you again very soon.